What's up, it's your boy Jay Get Rich, and in this video we're going to talk about protecting your bags. I'm going to try to make this quick, but there's quite a few things that you need to check whenever you get a coin address. Okay, let's say you're in a chat and you get a coin address sent, and they're like, hey man, check this out. Or let's say you find a coin and you're like, I want to look at this up, see if I want to buy this. Or if you're in the Axiom terminal and you're trading and you are like trying to find out if this is a coin you want to buy or not. So these are the security checks that you need to do every time you ever look at a coin. Doesn't matter what it is, and you need to always trust these security checks. Don't second guess yourself, okay? Just because a coin looks good, don't second guess the security checks. Trust me on this one. It's happened to me time and time again. It doesn't matter if a graph looks good, if these fundamentals are not all intact and all in line, then you shouldn't buy the coin. Now, whenever you're here in Axiom and you're looking at coins, and let's say you pull a coin up, right? And I already have a coin pulled up. Let's say you're looking at Fart with Hat, this coin right here. Fart with Hat. You were looking at the coins here and you clicked one, and this is actually this coin right here. So I clicked it and pulled it up. And you're looking at this and you're like, should I buy this? Right? Graph looks pretty good, in my opinion. They also paid the Dex. As you can see here, Dex paid. And I'm going to show you what that means in a second, because that is also a security check. Okay? Now, when you first get on a coin, what you need is the coin address. That's the very first thing you need. Coin address. Like I told you, there's wallet addresses. You need the coin address. Here on Axiom, they have the coin addresses at the top left. You can hit this little double box right here, and it'll copy the coin address. And also, when you're inside of the 3-window view, you can copy coin addresses real quick just by hitting the double box by the name of the coin, right? And it will copy the coin address. So address copy. Then the first thing we're gonna do is take this to Dexscreener. So I already have it pulled up. I would take it to Dexscreener, go to search, and I would paste in the coin address just like that. And as you can see, this coin address ends with the word pump. As I was telling you earlier in my videos, it's important to try to only buy coins that end in the word pump in the beginning, because those are pump.fun coins, and those coins have anti-rug mechanisms. If you're buying coins that don't have the word pump at the end, like this coin right here, XST. XST is a coin I've been talking about on my TikTok. People are like, should I buy this? Is Trump talking about XST? This is a complete rug scam, organized rug. Like, it's one of the largest I've seen, honestly. This is a coin that was coded, and this coin was not deployed on Pump Fund. And we can tell that by the coin address, because when you're inside Dexscreener and you're looking at a coin like this, if you scroll down on the right side, here at the top, they have the thumbnail for the coin. So there's a little picture that pops up. They have to actually pay Dexscreener to have a thumbnail here at the top. So this little picture, every coin's not gonna have that. And it's very important that you know that whoever deploys the coin has to pay $300 in order to put a picture here on Dexscreener. So that is what you see on Axiom. Whenever you see this little eagle, Dex paid, that means that they paid $300 for this little picture to be here. It doesn't always mean that the coin's a good coin, okay? And XST is a good example. If you scroll down here, it shows you all of the addresses for the coin. The one you're gonna want is the one in the middle, which is XST's address, okay? XST's coin address. So I'll copy it, you just gotta click it, and I'll show it to you. So this is XST's coin address. It doesn't end in pump. It ends in WTYZQP. You know, I wouldn't trade it to begin with. Honestly, you're risking your money if you do that. All right, so we're back here on Fart with Hat. Looking at the we're looking at the graph, and we're like, are we gonna buy this or not? So whenever you pull up Dexscreener, for one, you want to kind of glance at the holders. You want to be like, how many people are holding this coin? 72 people are holding this coin. And then I make a reference to the market cap. I'm gonna start to understand what holders justify what market caps the more you trade coins. So the more you understand that 100 holders doesn't justify a $20,000 to $40,000 market cap. I understand that. So I know that this coin is going to dip very soon if it doesn't reach 200 holders quick. Okay, that kind of mechanism, you'll learn that over time. Can't really explain that to you, but I can explain to you that there is a marriage there, and you need to just kind of glance at the holders, look at the market cap, and be like, this has way more holders than this market cap usually does, so maybe this is a buy, right? Or vice versa. Glance at the holders. The first thing you're going to do is click maps. This little maps button right here at the bottom, right next to holders. This is the Bubblemaps. Okay, very important. I'm going to explain Bubblemaps to you real quick. Okay, so we're looking at this bubble map for Fart with Hat, and basically there's just a bunch of little circles all around, some big circles, little circles, circles connected to circles, right? Circles that have connections to other circles like this. Okay, what does that mean? And then when we hover over the bubble, it tells us a percentage: 6%, 3%, 3%, 1%. Those are all wallets. Those are all people that are holding this exact particular coin, Fart with Hat. And this cluster of wallets right here that are connected, these are all one person. So this one person has several different wallets, but they're all the same person. So all these wallets are connected. So essentially, this is one person, this is one person, this is one person, this is one person. Does that make sense? So you kind of want to look for diversity whenever you're looking at Bubblemaps. That's what you're looking for. You're trying to find out who owns the coin, how much do they own, is it split up? Because we want a good even split between holders. That's a good coin. This is Troll on Solana, and they have a lot of holders, 64,198. Okay, there's not a whole lot of faking the funk with Bubblemaps and faking the funk with holders when you get up into the over 50,000 range. Okay, under 50,000 can be manipulated, believe it or not. Okay, it depends on the extent of the operation, the extent of the bots that they're using. You know, they could get up to 20, 30, 40,000 holders. They could even get the volume in the millions, you know, and that's all manipulation. You know, I know that sounds crazy, but it is, right? Your little buy and sell does not move the graph. Okay, what moves the graph is the actual code behind the coin, volume in the coin, and if those two things are clashing, you get a coin like XXT. All right, so we're here with Troll, here on Troll Coin, and like I said, they have 64,000 holders. So they have a lot of holders. And we'll look at the map. This is kind of what a better bubble map looks like. So there's a lot of different clusters here, a lot of different bubbles going on, a lot of different things happening, different colors. And with this in mind, we know that there's 64,000 people in this cluster of bubbles. This is significant. And the largest bubbles are like 3%, 5%, 1%. I mean, the largest bubble is 5%. Okay? Now, if we go back to Fart with Hat, the largest bubble here is 16%. The next largest bubble is 16%, and one person owns both of those bubbles. So that means that one person owns like 35% of this coin, and we could keep going up if we count the other bubbles that they own. So this is a huge red flag just off the bubble maps. We didn't even have to go look at the holders. I didn't have to go to SoulScan. I didn't have to physically look at wallets. Just off the bubble maps, I know that Fart with Hat is not a buy. If you find a coin that's early with a good bubble map, you found a gem. But a lot of the times, early coins, bubble maps don't look that great. But when it's this significant, you don't buy a coin like this, okay? Now, if I saw one bubble map that said like 9, 10%, I might buy that. I might even go up to 11, 12%. I might let that slide if the coin is new, early, because a lot of the time the devs and the people that create the coins, you know, they want a cut of the pie, and that's understandable. You know, that's kind of the situation that happened with Poor Goat. Invested in a coin early and it blew up, and now the community's looking at him because he's the largest holder of the coin. So he is the project, basically. Whoever is the largest holder of the coin is the coin. Okay, understand that if the coin is not spread out enough, then it's not a community coin. If one person owns 10%, 15% of the coin, it's their coin. Okay, Ansem coin is his coin. If he sells all of his coins, nobody's gonna keep buying Ansem. Nobody's gonna keep holding Ansem. It's his coin. Now, we want diversity in the bubble map. We don't want too much holdings in one cluster. We don't want a big fucking shit cluster. And I'll show you a big fucking shit cluster. XST has 54,000 holders. Okay, but I want you to understand something. This is why fundamentals is very important. Just because a coin has a lot of holders doesn't automatically make it a good coin. There are a lot of coins that have a lot of holders, and there are a lot of coins that are dying, and there are a lot of coins that have manipulation, and there are a lot of rug pulls going on right now. Okay, so you have to vet the coin for yourself. Okay, so when I looked at XST, the first thing I looked at was the bubble maps. This is what I always do. Okay, when I pull up the bubble maps for XST, this is a huge difference from what we've been looking at in these last two bubble maps. We even found a red flag in the first bubble map that did have diversity, but somebody was holding too much of the coin, right? In my opinion, over 7%, 8% is a red flag for you early on. Okay, you shouldn't be trading coins where people are holding over 8%, 9% of the coin, right? You really need to gauge if that's a good idea or not based on the socials, what's going on with the coin, and if you can find out who is the person that holds that percentage, then you'll have more of an incentive to buy. Okay, but if the bubble maps looks like this, where every single bubble is connected, then the story's already written, guys. Okay, here's a little bubble right here that owns 0.61. So I mean, this is a retail buyer. This guy right here is going to get dumped on. Okay, the second thing that you're going to want to check whenever you're looking at a coin, after you check the bubble maps and you think that it's good to go, is you need to understand if the coin has narrative, right? Because if the coin doesn't have narrative, and the coin doesn't have socials that make sense, and the coin doesn't have intent, then you're basically trading a dead coin. So we transition from checking the holders, and you can even go further and deep dive into the holders and actually look at how much percentage there is on, on Axiom, and you can click holders here and kind of just deep dive into what percentage the top holders have. Like this guy has 14%, this guy has 26%. So you can kind of deep dive on coins like that too as well. And we're not buying this because we just talked about this. The guy with all those bubbles on like 30% of the coin, that's verified here in the top holders. These two, number 2 and 3, are those bubbles. Okay, this top one is the liquidity pool, as it says here. That's not a holder. The liquidity pool is the bucket of money that we're trading from. So if you ever see liquidity pool in the holders, that's a good thing. The liquidity pool needs to be at the top. Most of the time it is at the top because it is the largest bucket whenever a coin drops. As a coin transitions to graduation, the liquidity pool gets smaller and smaller, okay, because they're pulling coins out of it. It's a bonding curve, and the bond, when it bonds, it basically graduates. So that's why it's called a bonding curve. And that's the mechanism inside a pump fund, and that's what's protecting your money. We're getting very technical, but I'm just trying to get you to understand that the liquidity pool is a good thing. We want liquidity. We want the liquidity pool to be the largest holder. That would be a good thing. It's not always the case, but on coins that have very, very large market caps, a lot of time the liquidity pool will be the largest holder because liquidity pools don't sell. When they graduate and it bonds, it gets locked. So all of the coins that get locked on the platform, whenever the liquidity pool gets deployed onto the platform after the coin graduates, this is the mechanism. This is what happens. The liquidity pool gets locked on the platform. That it just stays there. It's like a holder, right? And it actually helps prop up the coin, and it makes the coin tradable. So that's why it's a good thing. The liquidity pool is our friend. And there's even coins with multiple liquidity pools, because you can deploy liquidity yourself onto any coin that you want to. That's getting a little more technical, into the blockchain. That's not super important for you to know, but it is important for you to know that having more than one liquidity pool is a good thing, and all liquidity pools are a good thing. But some liquidity pools are not locked. Okay, to write that down. That's why we trade pump fund coins, because liquidity pools are locked automatically on pump fund. That is another reason we only want to trade pump fund coins. Okay, I hope you're following. Liquidity good. We want multiple liquidity. You can have liquidity on pump fund. You can have liquidity on radium. You can have multiple liquidity pools. You can have a Meteor liquidity pool. But 9 times out of 10, if you're trading a pump fund coin, it's going to be a pump fund liquidity pool. Next thing you're going to want to always check after the bubble maps, after you verify the holders, is the socials. Okay, and a good way to check the socials is you can do it straight from the trading platform, Axiom or Photon. Okay, you can do it while you're looking at coins. All you gotta do is hover over the little icons here in the middle of the coin or next to the picture. And usually if it has a little website or a Twitter, it will show you like a little snapshot like this. Okay. And you know, you're looking at this and you're like, oh, this guy's got 600 followers. Maybe I want to take a glance at that. You know, what's the narrative here? Why is this social connected to this coin? That is our next move whenever we're looking at a coin. So we verify that the holders look good and make sense with the market cap. And then we check the bubble map. The bubble map's got some diversity to it. Oh man, this coin has potential. Next thing we want to do is check the socials. Okay, make sure that the narrative of the coin makes sense, because if the narrative doesn't make sense to you, then it's not going to make sense to other people. If you're trading monkey butt coin, that's only going to go so far. If Elon Musk didn't just tweet monkey, like, it has to have substance. If a celebrity drops a coin, there's so much substance behind that already. It's gonna fly. That's a guaranteed one, right? Coin like monkey butt coin would only go so far, and you'll learn things like that because the narrative won't stick, right? The narrative has to have some substance to it. You know, maybe somebody important retweeted it, maybe a KOL tweeted it, maybe somebody with a bunch of followers is talking about it, maybe a bunch of people are calling it out on FOMO or Pump Fund. You know, whatever you see, if you see a lot of it, then the narrative's forming. If you only see a few of the instances of it, then maybe the narrative isn't sticking. Maybe it's just something that some guy made and he wants it to fly. You want to find narratives that make sense and narratives that run. That's why K-Coin did well, is because the narrative crossed over from X all the way into TikTok, you know, and I'm sure it reached other platforms like Facebook, Instagram. A lot of the narratives do start on it, and then they'll reach retail buyers. Retail buyers are usually on other platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Okay, so if I was looking at Fart with Hat like we were earlier, I would hover over the socials like I told you. This is our second check after we do the bubble map. Now, like I told you, I wouldn't buy I wouldn't buy this coin at all. But let's just check the socials just to entertain. So we pull up the X post that they have linked to the coin, right? So this is what they want you to, and right off the back, their X account is not verified. It's a red flag, you know, because honestly, if you're gonna drop a coin and you're really gonna put some money behind it, or you really want it to do well, you're gonna verify the account. You're gonna pay that little bit of money every month to have that check mark on X.com. Watch out for that. Green flag is that the coin address is right here. Right, so that's something you want to look for whenever you are checking socials. You want to look for a coin address. Okay, if people are just talking about stuff and nobody's mentioning the coin ticker, which would be the $ and the coin, like this right here, fart with, that's the ticker. If nobody's mentioning the ticker or the actual coin address, then that post might not even be about the coin. It might just be a post that they link to the coin, you know, just to make it look viral. So you have to watch out for things like that. You know, you want authenticity. You want substance. You know, you don't just want socials. You want socials with substance. Okay. He's got 200 followers. It's not verified. You know, I'll still give coins like this a little bit of a chance, but I'll start to look at the impressions on the posts. The impressions here are 159. Now you can buy impressions. You can buy impressions, you can buy likes, you can buy followers. But even coins like that are doing better than this guy because they put in a little bit of commitment. Like, they went and spent money to make their profile look good. That's not necessarily a bad thing. So far it's just been hovering around 20K, and it's stayed at 72 holders this entire video. Okay, that's key. Not in discovery, guys. You know, it's kind of just sitting, and this is where coins begin, is discovery. We look at our holders and we make sure that it makes sense with the market cap, right? Is the market cap moving? Are the holders moving? Do the holders make sense with the market cap? You know, are we sitting at 72 and 20K market cap? Most graphs that are under 100 holders should be under 10K market cap, you know? So this coin's just waiting to die. Okay, if we go to Troll, which you can look at the socials on Dexscreener as well. Keep that in mind, you know, when you're trading. If somebody sends you a coin out of the blue and they're like, hey man, look at this coin, you could just pull up Dexscreener, okay? And then you can look at the socials from here. If they have them linked to the coin at all, they should pop up here. So if we look at the socials for Troll numbers and what this stuff looks like, I mean, it's gonna make sense. It's gonna make sense that Troll has 50,000 holders and they have 39,000 followers on X. That makes sense, you know? So, and they're verified. Check, right? We go to their Telegram, they have 5,000 subscribers. Check. You know what I'm saying? If we go to XST, right, the coin that I've been dogging on this whole video, they've got 50,000 holders, just like Troll. And let's check out their Twitter. We pull up their Twitter, and they only have 3,000 followers. 3,000 followers, and they have 40,000 holders? That don't even make sense. The socials need to make sense. You know, just because they got a check mark, I can make my own conclusions. Red flag on XST. With these tools, you are going to buy better coins going forward, duplicates, okay? It's important that you know that when people drop coins, they drop duplicates too, a lot of the time. And a lot of the time when you see duplicates, like here, right here on our feed, we can see there's two coins back to back with the same picture, right? And the same name, right? Those are duplicates. And it's because people are trying to catch a narrative. People see something on a social like X, or they see something happen in the real world, and they're like, oh man, this is gonna be viral. I wanna attach a coin to this. And then they're not the only person thinking that. A lot of other people think the same thing, so a lot of people are deploying coins for the same thing. Now, when they're competing, they start to see that one coin is running. One coin's doing well of the coins that they're duplicating. So they take the picture from the coin that's doing well and they copy and paste it, and then other people do the same thing as well. It's a whole cycle of duplicate coins. And there's even people that always drop duplicates of the same coin whenever they deploy coins themselves. And that is to kind of weed out bots, weed out bad buyers, especially if they know that a narrative could catch a runner. A good example of this is this coin I was looking at earlier called Rexler. Okay, Rexler was dropping a bunch of different coins and there was duplicates going here and there, and you know, you're asking yourself, you know, which one do I buy, right? Because a lot of time when there's duplicates, that means that there's a narrative forming, so you might need to be paying attention. Not all the time, you know, duplicates run all the time because they think that narratives are going to run, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen. But what you need to understand as a trader is that when there are duplicates, then you might need to research and find out what other people are seeing. Just like this coin I was looking at earlier called Rexler, right? They were dropping multiple coins of they were dropping multiple duplicates of this coin because it was a great coin and it had a great narrative. There was this guy on Twitter named Rex who was a KOL, or he was somebody that was well known in the crypto community, and they were like, we should drop a coin for Rex, you know, everybody loves Rex. And it seemed like it was catching the narrative, and Rex was kind of talking about it a little bit, so you know, the coin was catching. And since a lot of people know who Rex is, and they pretty much married the idea with Adolf, you know who that is. And so, you know, it's just kind of like dopamine, right? So that made sense to me. So it was a buy in my mind. You know, the Bubblemaps looked good, the holders looked good, the socials made sense, the narrative made sense. So in my mind, it was a buy. But there was a bunch of duplicates dropping, so I kind of had to weed through and find out which one was the real coin. And the way you do that is by identifying the one with the most volume. Okay, now don't get confused on this. There are coins that have a lot of volume when they're duplicates. They might even get up into the 150,000s, 300K volume, you know, especially with manipulation, they can reach very high numbers. But you want to look for the one that has the most volume, okay? That 9 times out of 10 is the coin that you need to buy amongst all the duplicates. And here's a good example. With Rexler, this one right here was a duplicate, and the volume is around 10K, right? Now, this one is the actual Rexler, the actual coin that most people are buying, the actual one that you would have wanted to buy. And this one's volume is 2 million, okay? So 10K versus 2 million, I don't even have to wonder which one's the right Rexler. And there was a lot of Rexlers, okay? I just found the one with the most volume. And this is also a good example of why you want to look for coins with a Dexscreener profile, right? This little picture right here that they have to pay $300 to post. As you see, the duplicate here does not have a picture. That's because they did not intend for this to go anywhere. The original one, the one that you should have bought, does have a Dexscreener profile. Okay? So man, this is good stuff, right? So now you know how to protect your bags whenever you're trading inside of your platforms, okay? You want to always do this in this order, okay? You want to pull up the coin, take a glance at the holders, make sure it makes sense with the market cap, okay? Because if it doesn't make sense, then you don't even have to trade it. If you're looking at a coin and it has 50 holders and the market cap is like something stupid like 150K, then just move on, okay? Don't even ask yourself why it's that or what's going on with this coin. Like, why would it be this much with these little bit of holders? Like, don't even sit there and try to figure that shit out. Just move on, okay? It's manipulation. Or if you're looking at a coin and you glance at the holders and it's like 10K holders and the market cap's extremely low, then you need to do a little more research to, first of all, to find out why so many people are holding. And you need to find out, is this a bundle, right? And a bundle, no, I didn't explain this earlier, but a bundle is just like the bubble maps, right? The bubble maps, I showed you that some of those bubbles are all connected, like XST, right? This is a good example of a bad bubble map. If the bubbles look like this and they're connected together, then 9 times out of 10 that's a bundle, okay? That means that they're bundling a bunch of wallets together. One person owns a bunch of wallets, and they can do this with code. You know, you can pop out wallets with code with the press of a button, and you can load wallets with the press of a button. So they could pop out 10,000 wallets, they could buy 100,000 coins and divide 100,000 coins between those 10,000 wallets, and probably only spend a few dollars to do that. And that's called bundling, okay? So they make it look like the coin has a bunch of holders when it really doesn't. And so that's why if you do see a coin with a lot of holders and a very low market cap or a very low volume, then that's a red flag. It's like, okay, there's a lot of people holding this coin, but where's the volume? Why aren't people actually trading it? Why aren't people actually buying and selling it? That's what creates volume, right? So these bundles right here, like with these very large bundles, we don't buy these, okay? We only buy coins with diversity. Maybe a bundle here, a little bit of a bundle here, and then a bunch of little bubbles, and then maybe a little bundle here. You know, we're okay with that. We might investigate further. All right, now we're going to do a very important quick wrap up for protect your bags, okay? This is the pre-buy check. You need to live by this. This will be your buy Bible, okay? As long as you follow these fundamentals when you buy coins, a lot of the time you'll reduce your losses and you'll be able to become a better trader. Rule is no blind buys, okay? We're not just buying anything. We're gonna follow these prerequisites. The formula is social presence. We're gonna make sure it has a social presence, first of all. Holder sanity check, okay? We're gonna make sure the holders make sense and the market cap makes sense, okay? Just quick glance, like, you know, it doesn't make sense. Bubble map, we're going to check the bubble map after we make sure that it has a social. We make sure that the holders make sense with the market cap. We take those 2 glances, and then we're going to click that Bubblemaps button. This will be our first real check if it passes the glance checks. Then if it passes the Bubblemaps check, we're going to do a deep social proof check. Okay, we're going to start clicking the socials, actually checking the content. And then if all of that checks out and we have a little bit of conviction, we're going to check the narrative strength. Okay. And then if all of that checks out and we're like, this is a strong narrative and I have conviction. Okay. Our conviction score will determine how much money we deploy. All right. That's basically the formula. The mindset is you're not trying to prove the coin is good. You're trying to find a reason not to buy it. Okay. First, does it have a social? Holder sanity check. We're going to glance at the holders, glance at the market cap. Does that make sense to you? You know, what kind of investigating are we doing? A bubble map. Does it have a good looking bubble map? Is it diverse? Right. If all that checks out, we start checking the socials. We're not going to waste our time checking socials if all of this doesn't check out. Okay. And then narrative strength. You know, how strong is the narrative? How much money are we putting on this? The first step, social gates. Okay. This is where you glance at the socials. You basically want to know, does it have an X account? Does it have a website? Does it have a Telegram? Does it have a Discord? Does it have all of those? You know, and that can kind of gauge in itself. If it has 1 social, that's not as good as having 3. Of course. All right. Having a website is a big plus. A lot of coins don't have a website. It takes time to code a website. That doesn't mean the coin is good. Okay. A lot of people use websites to manipulate, but it is a good sign that a coin puts effort into something like that. Okay. So these are the things that we're looking for. Effort. Warning signals. No socials. No socials, we're not buying. Remember that. Okay. Broken links. If we're on the website and we're clicking things and they're not working. Okay. Red flag. That means they just put it up there to get people to buy. Okay. Copied website. Did they copy a website that's already working? Like, you know, something that's already an official website and they just linked it. You know, links that are not original links are bad. Dead Telegram. Are there 100 members in the Telegram? That's bad. Okay, we're looking for 1,000. We're looking for 500. We're looking for 300. You know, that is momentum. Is it a random unrelated X post? Like I just told you, originality matters. These are the things that we look for when we talk about socials. But when we're talking about the social gate, which is the first step, we're really just glancing to see if it has socials. Okay. Does it have socials? Check number 2, holder count glance. Okay. It needs to make sense to you. Let's break this down. 100 holders and the coin's over 20K market cap. That doesn't make sense. Okay. That's not enough holders for over 20K market cap. Okay. We're looking for some substance. We're looking for virality. That's not virality. That's 100 people holding. That could be one guy with a bundle with 50 wallets and then 50 other people. So officially 51 people holding the coin. Okay, not a good coin. If it's under 50K market cap and it has over 1,500 holders, because 1,500 holders is a little high for a under 50K market cap coin, that would cause for more investigation, right? Things like that, things that don't make sense. Holder count is context. Okay, that's what I'm basically telling you here. You're looking for a mismatch. You're looking for it to not make sense or make sense. All right, now we're going to talk about check number 3. Once you've done the social check, it has socials. Once you've glanced at the socials and you're like, okay, and then you glance at the holders and you're like, okay, this is interesting. Or these holders are dead, and then you don't even look at the bubble maps. You just leave the coin. But if the holders look interesting, then we go to the bubble map. Okay. The question is not, are there bubbles? It's what kind of bubbles. Okay. What are you inspecting? What are you looking for? You're looking for links. You're looking for diversity. Okay. This right here, bad bubble maps. Okay. You see how all these bubbles are the same color. All these bubbles are linked. Those are bundles. Okay. Anytime you see a bubble map where the bubbles are linked like this, whereas one bubble linked to this bubble, linked to this bubble, that is a bundle. Like I told you in the beginning of this video. Okay, these are bad bubble maps. This guy owns a large supply of the coin, linked to more large supplies of the coin. So if this guy dumps, all of these people are liable. Okay, and they probably will dump. This right here is all one guy. Okay, So if he dumps, everybody's losing. Okay, bad bubbles. Here's a better bubble map, right? You kind of have to gauge bubble maps. Yes, these are connected. Yes, this is a bundle. Yes, there's more than one bundle. That also means that there's more than one person that's holding the coin that could have conviction. Okay, you have to gauge that yourself. Is this a good coin, a bad coin, good narrative, bad narrative? Are there insiders involved? You can find out a lot of these things on social media, okay? And then the best type of bubbles are really diverse. You don't see a whole lot of linkage. You don't see very large bubbles. You just see a bunch of bubbles spaced out. Maybe different colors, you know, maybe all of them are gray. You know, these are the type of bubble maps that you want to see. You want to see a lot of diversity, okay? Moving on. Bubble map quick questions. How many connected bubbles are there? Does the largest holder look normal for you? Okay, can you identify who the largest holder is? That's important because that'll tell you if you want to buy a coin where there's a very large holder bubble or there's a very large holder at the top of the holders. Okay, you want to find out who that guy is. Maybe he's somebody we can trust, like Ansem. Probably not. All right, are holders diverse? Okay, are the bubbles spread out? Does the map make you want to dig deeper? All right, that's the questions we're asking for a bubble map. This is an important slide, okay? I want you to pay attention to this. This is the dig deeper slide. After you check all of the first prerequisites, you're to the point where you want to know what's going on. You're gonna start to click social links, okay? That's the next step. That's step number 4. You're gonna start to click the links on the Dexscreener. You can click the links on Axiom, Photon, wherever you're looking at the coin, you can start to click links, okay? But at this stage, when you're newer, you're not buying coins before you're doing these checks that I'm talking to you about, okay? Just because you're trading on Axiom, just because you're on there looking at new pairs drop, that doesn't mean you buy and then you do these checks. That is wrong. You need to do these checks first and then buy, okay? You're not at the level yet where you can buy and then do checks, okay? You're digging deeper. You want to start clicking the socials on Dexscreener, okay? At this point, you should be checking Dexscreener for every coin. Every coin you should be checking Dexscreener, okay? That should be a habit. When you pull up the coins on Dexscreener, they tell you a very large story, okay? Very large story. I talked to you already about how the paid Dex is important. It's important for a coin to have a little photo like this, right? Because they have to pay $300 to get a photo like this on Dexscreener. That is commitment. Every little bit of commitment matters, okay? A verified social profile, like on Soulcat, okay? Soulcat has a verified social profile. All of this screams commitment, okay? Now back to what I was saying. When you're checking socials, you're on Dexscreener looking at the coin, you've looked at your bubble map. Now you're gonna start clicking these links. It may have one link, it may have 3. Click all of them. You want to check the website, you want to check the Twitter, check the Telegram. Do the numbers make sense? Does the Telegram have a lot of followers? Does the Twitter have a lot of followers? Okay. You can also scroll down on Dexscreener and hit the search on Twitter button. And you can search for the ticker, right? The ticker is Soulcat, money sign Soulcat. The ticker is always the money sign and then the name of the coin, okay? These can be vague sometimes, which is bad. Like money sign buy coin. Buy coin is way too vague, okay? That would not be a conviction play, okay? A conviction play has originality. Soulcat has originality. If you look up Soulcat, there's probably only 1 or 2 real Soulcats, okay? And this is number 2, the one you're looking at on the screen. So we're searching Twitter, we're hitting search for the ticker, and then we're looking through the post and we're seeing what people say. People will tell you the story. They'll say, oh, this is a scam, don't buy this. Oh, this guy's always rugging, don't buy this. Or they'll say things like, oh man, love this narrative, love this coin, going higher, gonna be 10 million. You know what I mean? If you're seeing a lot of that, that's good. Or you'll see things like, this guy owns 10%, and they'll tag the guy. Then you can go find out who owns the top wallet. Doing your research really tells you a lot about the coin. It's very important to click all of these links, and you can dig even deeper if you use the search on Twitter, search the ticker, okay? Now, moving on, The account strength is the last thing you're looking for whenever you're clicking these socials. Okay, like I'm explaining to you. Does the X account, is it verified? Okay, that's important. That shows commitment. How many followers does the X account have? Right? Does the X account have a community? Are the people joining the community? Are people talking in the community today? You know, the dates are important, right? This post was from 2 days ago, but it's a pinned post, so you know that's okay. I scroll down, as long as he's got posts from today, then I'm feeling a little better. If he's got posts from 2 days ago and he hasn't posted in 2 days, I'm starting to feel a little iffy about this coin, even though I've done all these checks. So you get where I'm saying? I've gone all the way to this point. If I don't see posts from today, I might not even buy this, just off of that minute detail. Okay, moving on. Number 5, narrative strength. What's a weak narrative? A copied meme, a copied coin, a duplicate coin, a fake connection, a random X post that somebody just linked. It has no community, no language, no real memes. You know what I mean? No substance to the real meme. The story doesn't make sense about the coin. The coin's picture looks stupid. The coin's ticker is stupid. The coin has been made 1,000 times. These are all weak narratives. Here's a good example. Just like I was showing you SoulCat. Here's a duplicate of SoulCat that didn't become a runner, right? It didn't become the main runner. The main runner was the one on the right here. That's because the narrative was a lot stronger, okay? And you can see that just from the pictures. The picture on the left is like a real cat, I guess, with a funny hat, and it has like a Solana colored soul cat. Kind of corny, kind of 2019. You know, it only had one transaction in the last 24 hours, and it makes sense, right? The one on the right, soul cat. This one actually had substance. It's not just a nice picture. Even though I did like the meme, I do like the picture. I like the yellow. I like Soul Cat. I like that it's connected to Solana. You know, so yes, the name makes sense on the left, but the pictures fucking suck. The Dexscreener picture sucks. Like, it only has one link. Like, if this just dropped, I probably would be skeptical just off of those glances, right? And then I would dig a little further, see if the holders make sense, check the bubble map, blah, blah, blah. But the one on the right, I would have been more excited to look at. I've got 3 links here, got a nice Dexscreener picture. The Dexscreener picture was actually spinning. I can't show it spinning here, but it was spinning. And when you collect the socials, there's actually a story connected. There was a gentleman who was the original person to originally drop the SoulCat meme coin. And the original guy that dropped it years ago, the coin died, got back involved with this particular SoulCat coin. And there actually is another SoulCat coin circulating that has more market cap than this one, but in my opinion, it doesn't have as much lure. Okay? So, I mean, there's a solid example of conviction right there. I myself have conviction in SoulCat, and you might look at this video and SoulCat might be dead, you know, and that's just the nature of meme coins. All right, to wrap this very important video up, the 60-second pre-buy checklist, and you're going to try to get this under 60 seconds. As fast as you can do this checklist, the faster you can buy coins. And then with time in the market, you'll be able to skip some of these steps because you'll start to recognize things before you even look for them. Does it have real socials? Does it have any socials? Does the holder count make sense against the market cap? Does the bubble maps look clean? Is it diverse? Is it explainable? Does the X mention show real attention? Does it have the coin ticker? Does it have the coin address? Is it an original post? Okay, these are all important things. Is the narrative original, authentic? Is it a good narrative? Is it a duplicate narrative? How long is this narrative gonna stick? How long is your money gonna be in the coin? All right, that's it, guys. This is the Protect Your Bags video. Very important video. I hope you watched the whole video. I know it was long, but this is gonna make you a better trader. If you need to go back and watch this a few times, take notes, do what you gotta do, because once you get this checklist down packed and you become faster at these checks, the coins you look at will be quality more and more, and you'll start to buy and sell runners and realize that you could have changed your life, and you'll get closer and closer to doing that. Thank you for watching. I'm Jake Get Rich. You can follow me on all platforms at Jake Get Rich. Hit the links in my description if you're looking for a Photon or Axiom link, or if you need an authentic group of individuals in crypto. I have a Discord group called Get Rich Mafia, and I would love for you to join. All right, till next time.
The fuck, nigga? Yeah, nigga.